funny because
No, you.
It's funny because the previous episode. All right. We mentioned how. Hold on.
We
I hear
just
myself.
witnessed.
We mentioned how season 7's kind of been going back and forth. Good episode, bad episode, good episode, bad episode, and yesterday was an amazing episode.
Yeah.
I got
like
So there's not a whole lot to say. All right. So the premise, of course, is Pinkie Pie helps the Yaks, but the Yaks don't want her help. The end. So they help. So they help them anyway. That's the premise.
Yeah, why was that? I don't understand. Confused with the.
By the way, this episode was written by Mei Chan. That's a new person, I
I
believe.
think
there's no way. I've never heard that name before.
Wait,
I've heard-
it's 4chan in disguise.
I've heard,
Late
I've
night is
heard
4chan.
he worked on Avatar: The Last Airbender and Phineas and Ferb. So
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really
nice.
see anything wrong with like the writing. Animation was good as usual. Like, it's good production value as usual for season 7. It's just I'm
The
not
animation
sure.
was great.
I
Yeah,
felt
I'm
like
just not sure if the story
Yeah.
was all that interesting.
I felt like Pinkie's context has just like it was like good and then it fell apart. Then it was a
That's the
little
thing.
bit good, then it fell.
I didn't really detect anything wrong with like the characters or like you said something's wrong
Yeah.
with Pinkie.
But yeah,
Well,
Yeah, Pinkie was fine to me.
Yeah,
Well-
that's the thing. Like, this is more like a non-offensive episode. The
She-
Bronies. It's just kind of
Well, here's the thing. She had her good moments, then she had her boring moments. It was up and down.
I mean, she was her
mean-
usual silly self. We got a bunch of funny faces and all that. I thought that was all good.
I still
It was
love
fun.
Gummy. I still love Gummy.
yeah, it's good to see Gummy again. Has he had a significant role before or recently? I mean,
no.
Last one was Slice of Life, I think.
that
No,
long
was
ago?
it? Yeah, I think so.
Well, I'm thinking. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
remember
good to
last
see
time
him
I saw
come back.
Gummy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
like
know
for
if-
me though, I haven't seen any episodes in like 4 or 5 months, so I
Whoa.
really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, well, yeah, it
You
must
are
be good to see
awful.
anything new for you.
Yeah, I haven't seen any I haven't even seen reruns. I just haven't at all. So I really deeply enjoyed this.
And
one.
like Net Larion, I think is how you say it in the chat. He mentions it's basically rehashing Applebuck season, and that was
Oh, yeah,
my
that's
first
true.
impression is being too stubborn to accept help. And how did that one exactly end? That one, she like
she
learned
was
that
too
on.
tired.
Well, how did it
Yeah.
end? She like learned on her own that she needed help, and but
Yeah.
in this
Yeah,
episode
saving
they
her
just
friends.
help them anyway, which I don't know if that's a great lesson. In
Well,
some cases, that can be bad.
Pinkie, I felt like Pinkie was like, "Oh, hey, the Yaks are in trouble. Let me grab my fence. Okay, it's solved. See ya."
And it is such a simple story that it feels like they had to drag it out a lot with just stuff, like not even jokes,
No.
just stuff happening, which is a little unfortunate.
Yeah.
But there's
Too
not
much-
much.
I felt
No problem.
There's
I
not
felt
much
that
you
it
can
was.
do.
I felt that it was really lazy. How at the end they're like, "Oh no, it's cool. Thank you for helping us." It's just
See you
like,
later.
But but it's like you didn't want help to
Yeah, there
begin
was
with.
no real like arc. There was no like.
Well-
I don't know. I didn't care for the story in this one at all.
Wait, but
Yeah.
what Prince Rutherford said was that like Pinkie understands Yak, so maybe
Did she
he
really
was
show
being all
that
tough,
though?
but he actually wanted help. He has said that, yeah. So Pinkie understands.
All
Yak,
that
or-
hinted towards that was the fact that Pinkie said, "No, don't bring any pony stuff. They wouldn't like that." That was the only thing that hinted at she might understand them, and they didn't really roll with that as much as they probably
No.
could have.
But what I mean is, he was like, I think he probably actually wanted help, but he didn't want to admit it. So he was really glad.
What I
don't.
what I don't understand about the Yaks is like they were destroying like logs and stuff, and Pinkie was destroying sticks. What was that about?
They like to
Well,
smash things.
because
What was
yeah.
their previous episode? What was that called?
It was I forget.
Yeah, I forget too.
Yeah,
I don't remember
yeah,
that one being that great either. But they came to Ponyville and started smashing stuff. That's just their thing.
Tradition. Anyway.
So
Um,
yeah, it's hard to talk about this one because it definitely feels like a filler episode, and I don't even mean that like in a bad way. Like, oh, this episode was horrible. Just kind of like I mean,
man, boring.
it's interesting
kind
to
of-
see the Yaks again. Nice to see Gummy. Pinkie Pie is silly. Yeah, it's just that
I
kind of
want
episode.
I want more episodes with Pinkie Pie and Gummy, but not the Yaks again. I just no.
Oh, I'm to the screenshots of Pinkie Pie's story about the goats. Looks like season 7's animation has sure improved.
Oh, hand
Yeah,
animation.
honestly, I actually like the Yaks more in this episode than I did before.
Yeah, I do like them more in this one than the other one because this one they actually had like character. They weren't just smashing stuff. Instead, smashing stuff was part of their character. So I thought that was
and
good.
Prince Rutherford was the one that was pretty much in charge of them being all tough, and the other yaks were actually,
Yeah.
kind of people.
And
Oh, one thing that
Prince
bothered me was the
Miles.
grammar though, because
Oh.
like they
Yaks.
they weren't really written very well to have a solid kind of that simple grammar, because they had a
They use big words apparently every once in a while, right?
like long words and stuff like that.
So I don't know
And
what
he-
they were trying to do with like their implied accent there. It didn't really make any sense.
Maybe because it's still written for kids, so like kids can see that they don't have very good grammar, but
Yeah.
like they won't really notice that.
Darn
it's
those
kind of
kids ruining our show.
Well,
I
the
know, right?
kid would usually laugh to the yaks. They have that funny accent.
Well, that's the thing. It's not even
The
really an
accent?
accent. The accent. It's not
Yeah.
even really an
Sorry,
accent.
whoa.
It's just like a way of talking. Even I don't know. It'd be kind of cool if they came up with an accent.
Yeah, well.
So yeah, there's not a whole lot else to say, is
Oh,
there? Should we jump into
by
individuals?
the
Yeah.
way, during I like to add this one thing when Pinky was flying on one of those floats, right? And Pinky mentioned Granny Smith's dentures. All I can think was oh.
Oh, and when was the last time we saw Pinky in her spy get up, her suit there?
That was like
Was
It
that
was
Crystal
like
Empire?
the
Season
yeah,
one.
that was
Really
the
old.
premiere for
Wow.
season 3, wasn't it?
really long time ago.
Was it 3 or
No.
4?
Yeah, season
Definitely
3.
Wow. Yeah,
Season
that's definitely old.
Oh,
Kind of cool that they brought that back. But again, that's like just
Yeah.
one of those things that's nice to see, but I don't really know if it makes an episode,
Yeah, well.
All right, we'll jump into individual reviews and ratings then. Draconite, first of all, it's been a while. Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks so much. I've had work like constantly not working with the schedule of the live streams, but yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anything in a while, and I really enjoyed it. But I mean, I guess it wasn't really too special. It was just a typical episode. But I love the animation. Nothing really much to say.
What's your rating?
Oh, rating, right.
on a scale of
Give
1
it
to
a
10.
7.5.
All right, 7.5.
Yeah.
Drummer Shy, what did you think?
And not really asking for trouble here, but this episode was just meh.
Not asking for trouble.
I see what
Not
you did
asking
there.
for trouble.
I see what you mean there.
No,
Sorry.
I
for
see what
interrupting.
you did there. Yeah, that was probably a better joke than anything in the episode.
Ouch.
So yeah, Pinky had its good moments and bad moments. I liked seeing the yaks again. They were probably funny, but I felt this episode, it kind of a little bit fell apart, and then it came back, and then it fell apart again. Then it came back, then fell apart again. There were some funny and not so funny moments. I really love the yaks, really love Gummy, but to be honest, it's a filler episode, as you say. So I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. It was okay.
Ooh, a 5. This is
Ooh.
going to be an interesting rating, isn't it?
Yeah,
All right,
it's-
Shady Games, what'd you think?
I actually thought Pinky was in character, and I really like how the yaks were in this episode. They're a lot better than the previous episode they were in. I still don't know the name of it. It's easily forgettable. This probably will be an easily forgettable episode, and I'm not saying that it was a bad episode. I thought it was average, for a filler episode. It was actually pretty good, to be honest, pretty decent, to say the least. And I think I don't really have much more to say, but I think Pinky was in character, to be honest. So I wanna give this episode a 7.5.
Another 7.5?
Yep.
Maybe that'll
So
balance
fair
it out and it'll be even rating. But all right, Sonic Crew, what'd you think?
I mean, I thought it was just like, well, when I first got into this episode, I didn't even know what this episode is going to be about. I didn't even see any synthesis online about what the episode might be about or anything. So it's going in unexpected, but it just turned out pretty bleh today. It had some nice comebacks with yaks, Gummy, and there were some funny moments, but the entire episode to me was just boring. So, I mean, it's not one that I would hate, but it's just I'm gonna give a standard. My boring rating, I guess, is a 6 out of 10.
Good
All
job.
right. 6 from Sonic Crew. Star Shadow, your turn.
I think it was very bland and drawn out, and there's really not even much to say about it. So I just got to give it a 6.
All right, another 6. Suppose it's my turn then. Like I said, this did feel like kind of like a slow episode. Like it didn't. I mean, it tried to do something interesting. Of course, the return of the Yaks. We saw Yak-Yakistan again. That's all nice. You know, we saw more of Gummy. We saw Pinky in her spy suit, and you know, little moments like that I think are great for the show, and I love seeing stuff like that. But with all that said, this is, in my opinion, an example of a filler episode, although it's probably the perfect example of a filler episode. And personally, I wouldn't mind, you know, seeing the occasional good filler episode just because, you know, it keeps the show alive, and, you know, every episode can't be a hit. So, and I want to clarify why I call this one a filler episode, because some people maybe who like this episode would get highly offended when you call something a filler episode because it's so, you know, such a bad term. But what I mean by filler episode is that it took a very simple premise and then just kind of padded the length and tried to make that very simple premise last 20 minutes. There were a lot of moments that didn't need to be in there, and they weren't necessarily jokes or funny or anything, so that's why I call it a filler episode. And that shouldn't be taken as a bad thing, because, like I said, I wouldn't mind seeing occasional episodes like this, as long as it means the show can continue. So, there were some funny moments. Anybody catch Prince Rutherford said, "Check yourself before you wreck yourself"?
Yes.
I wrote that down
Before
because
Rick self.
No, I did not hear that.
he said that.
Is that a meme or something?
Yeah, isn't it?
Before
What
you
is that
wreck
from?
yourself.
I actually love that moment when he was like, "Oh, this is a ancient branch. You shall not crush
Yeah,
it," or
yeah.
whatever.
That was
So,
pretty funny.
so there were some nice moments like that, but
Yeah.
all in all, it just was kind of a slow episode, not one I would want to watch over and over, not a whole lot of really funny moments. So because of that, I'm going to be giving it a 6 out of 10.
Oh.
Yeah, so
I
that's
got-
pretty low, but I gotta, you know, I
Yeah.
gotta have some contrast for the good episodes. All right, time to calculate our average. Does Trevor say? Yes, it does. All right, the average rating for not asking for trouble from the Little Shy live stream is a 6.3.
Ooh.
So that's actually pretty low, but I don't know. I thought this was a pretty non-offending episode. It wasn't like, oh, this was so out of character, it ruined the show. It's nothing like that.
Yeah, it's just like an awful episode.
Yeah,
but boring.
I wouldn't say it was awful. I want to say it's like in the decent category and like, you know, a decent filler episode.
I think it's a great filler episode, if that makes any sense.
yeah. I mean,
Example
it's
of
a
it.
perfect example of the filler episode, like you said before.
Yeah. All right, so that will conclude.
Oh,
That will conclude the recorded portion of our stream, and we're actually doing something new here. So those of you that are live, head on over to my secondary channel. We're going to go live there for a while. This is to keep the recorded portion and the discussion later on separate. That way we can have the review up like right after we're done streaming, as opposed to hours later, because then there's no point in doing it live. So yeah, those of you that are live, check us out on Little Shy Secondary. It's my channel, linked to from my primary channel and probably from this channel. But anyway, those of you watching recording, thanks for tuning in, and hope to see you next time. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.